Hi everyone, so in today's video I'm going to share with you 55 Amazon KDP tips to help you succeed on Amazon. So in case you're new to our channel, Cleo and I have been publishing on Amazon KDP since 2019, and since then one of our first accounts has sold 45,000 books and our second account has sold 175,000 books, and recently one of our books became a top 100 bestseller in Amazon USA, so that was a really proud moment for us. So all of these tips I'm sharing with you is from our own experience and our own journey throughout the last years. So tip number one is focus on your book's first impression. So you cover your title, your description, A+ content, and everything that a customer will see before actually reading your book is super important. In that case, the cover and everything else is even more important than the book itself in terms of getting the sale. Because if someone doesn't know who you are, if you're not a famous person, if you're not a well-known author, then someone will just literally judge your book based on its cover. But that would also include the title and all of that. So make sure that your book is really high quality. Make sure it actually looks like a 5-star worthy book without even a customer looking inside your book. Really important, because the customer will decide on whether or not he's going to buy your book based on the information he can see. And if you're doing low content books, for example, there's no look inside feature, so the customer can't even see the inside of your book. So the customer will literally 100% have to decide whether they want to buy your book or not based on what they can see. And what they can see is your cover, they can see your title, they can see your description, they can see your A+ content. And if you have reviews, they can obviously see those too. So those are really important. Amazon tip number 2, be ready to change strategy. So if you're not seeing good results with one type of book, start trying out other kinds of books. So for example, if you're only trying out notebooks, or if you're only doing planners or only doing journals, start doing other kinds of books. Keep trying different kinds of books in different niches until you start seeing results. Some niches and some types of books are a lot harder to get results with than others. So I highly recommend that you try different things out to see what works for your style of design and your style of book creation. And then once you find that, then really go all in on that. All right, tip number 3 is launch all of your books with Amazon ads. Don't wait for a few weeks to do the ads, but instead start doing Amazon ads right away. I've seen some people recommend not doing Amazon ads from the beginning, or I've seen lots of people asking if they should run Amazon ads at the beginning, and the answer is definitely yes. And the reason you want to do Amazon ads right from the beginning is because there's something called the honeymoon period, and that is the period when Amazon's algorithm is testing your book to see how well it is performing and how well the shoppers on Amazon like your book. And then based on the performance during the first few weeks, Amazon will rank your book higher or lower. So the more sales you can get, the potentially higher your book can rank for your main keywords. And Amazon ads can, if you're doing it right, potentially play a huge part in that. So if you have the budget to run Amazon ads, definitely try and run ads right from the beginning. All right, KDP tip number 4 is build a community. So create a Facebook group or some group on another platform where you can build a community and invite all of your readers to join that group. It's really important that you build a community, one, because users can engage directly with you and with other readers, but also you can start owning more of your actual customers. If you're just selling on Amazon, you have no way to get the email addresses, no way to figure out who your customers are, and have no control over your audience. By creating a Facebook group or some other group on another platform, you can start having a little bit more control and contacting and reaching your audience. So that's really important, especially moving forward as Amazon continues to get more and more competitive. All right, tip number 5 is a bit similar, so creating an email list. So that is the same reason as I just mentioned, is you want to start owning your customer database so you can sell to them, so you can sell them your next book or your next products, or you can contact them and they can contact you. Really important, because once again, Amazon controls all of the data, you control nothing. And what happens if you get banned or anything like that? You have no way of reaching or contacting your customers and selling them your next books or products on another platform. So really important just for growing in general. All right, KDP tip number 6 is building a brand. Amazon KDP obviously is getting a lot more competitive these days, with more and more people wanting to make money online and creating low and medium content books. and also just regular authors creating children's books and novels and any kinds of books. So it's just getting more and more competitive. So the one way you can stand out is by building a brand. And brands are really good because you can create loyal customers. And once you start creating a fan base, those people will continue buying your future books. So that is really, really important. And then also if you have an audience of readers, you also can spend less money on Amazon ads because your readers will be engaged with you on other platforms and the social media and your emails and your websites. And they're just more likely to buy your books without any other notices. All right, KDP tip number 7 is creating a website. We've seen lots and lots of big brands on Amazon that are selling books, also having their own websites. And on their website, they showcase all of their books. And in addition to books, they also sell digital products. They sell print on demand like merch and other things. And depending on what kind of books you're publishing, you can also sell courses. You can sell coaching if you're in a how-to niche, for example. And the website overall is just really, really good. On the website, you can also create a blog where you can further give your readers information and then also start having a chance on ranking on Google for search terms. And there's a lot of potential with a website and ways you can grow your brand and grow your revenue. So definitely highly recommend that. All right, so next KDP tip is about checking your older listings. If you've been publishing books for a long time, in the past, you're only allowed to select by default 2 categories. And then if you wanted to, you could email Amazon KDP to add more categories up to 10, but that has now changed. And now you're only allowed to add 3 categories, but you can do so yourself. So some of your old books might only have 2 categories listed. So make sure that your other books have 3 categories listed because that can help you with your organic rankings and getting more notice in other categories. All right, so KDP tip number 9 is that if you have high content books, to also make sure you have your Kindle ebook version as well as a hardcover version. Each of these different versions can be connected to your first listing. So if you first started publishing your main book as a paperback and you now create a hardcover version and an ebook version and even an audiobook version, all of those 4 book types can be listed and connected together. And the great thing about that is that each of those listings will then share the same reviews as the other books. And then the thing that's even better is that each of these versions can rank on Amazon KDP on the search results independently. So you can have a lot more chances to rank for different keywords and rank for different audience types and just increase your sales overall. So the more book types your book qualifies for, the better. KDP tip number 10. So if you have a high content book, so a how-to book, a novel, children's books, or anything like that, I highly recommend turning them into audiobooks. With our own book that we recently published, the Self-Publishing Simplified book, we also turned that into an audiobook and it has done really well and has helped us get more sales and also reach more readers. So it's really good and I highly recommend doing that. Also with audiobooks, the audiobooks website on Amazon has much less competition than Amazon itself. So ranking for audiobooks can also be much easier. So definitely I would consider doing that, and you don't have to read the book yourself. You can hire someone on Fiverr or on Upwork, and that's actually what we ended up doing just because we had no experience in actually reading a book correctly of how it should be made for Amazon. So we hired someone doing it and we had a really good experience with that. All right, so KDP tip number 11 is to create a strong author page. You want to make sure you have a high quality image of yourself or of your brand, depending on if you chose a personal brand name or what kind of pen name you had. And then also creating a professional about you text. So include all relevant information about yourself or your brand and make sure it just really stands out and gives a potential reader all the necessary information about yourself to further convince them to buy and read your books. KDP tip number 12 is choosing a profitable niche. And this sounds really obvious, but what I mean by that specifically is niching down. So if you want to make low or medium content books, for example, you don't just want to target notebooks or planners or puzzle books. You want to actually niche down. By niching down, that's where the real money is, and that's where you will have the most success and the best results with your books. And I would consider niching down having keywords that are at least 3 or 4 words long, ideally 4 or longer. So one example of niching down would be, so instead of having Sudoku books as your main niche, niching down to Sudoku books for adults. I'm not saying this is the best niche. This is just an example showing you what I'm talking about when I mean to have longer tail keywords and niching down that way. So we have sold way over 220,000 books now, and niching down has definitely been one of the biggest parts to our success. So I highly recommend doing that. All right, so next tip is creating the best possible cover. We've slightly touched on that before, but I want to make this point even more detail and tell you exactly why. So the book is really important, especially on the mobile mobile app. So for people that shop on Amazon on their phones. And that is because if you're shopping on your phone, you see much less information. The title of your book or title of your product is cut off much sooner. So what they really see when they're shopping is your image, which will be the biggest part, your title, which will be the smallest part and also cut off much sooner than when it is on a website. And then you obviously see the price and the reviews. So the biggest thing and the first thing they see on the mobile app is your cover. So that's why it's even more important to have such a high quality cover that really stands out. You really want to make a cover that makes people want to click on it to see what your book is about and then hopefully even buying it. So having a high quality cover in that sense is just the most important part, at least for us. And the second most important part would be the title. Those would be the first two things that your readers will see and then decide if you're going to buy your book or not. So keep learning and keep improving with your cover design skills if you're doing it yourself. And if you have the budget, you can also try hiring somebody on Upwork or Fiverr. We personally think there's better talent on Upwork. It just takes a little bit longer to find someone, but I highly recommend checking out Upwork instead of just Fiverr and just trying to find the best talent you can for your cover designs. All right, KDP tip number 14 is to create a series. So if your book qualifies to be in a series, then that is just one really great way to get more and more sales as you're building out your brand. Because if you have a series, it will actually show up in your product listing page where people can see the book that they have clicked on, but they can also see that this book is part of a series, and then they can click on the series link and see all of the books that are in your series. So that is just one really great way of getting more exposure to all of your other books. And if you're building a brand, I highly recommend building a series out, because if a person likes one book, they're just so much more likely to continue buying from you. And if you have a series, that just makes it really easy for them to know what book to buy next. KDP tip number 15 is cross-promoting your books. So the two easiest ways to cross-promote your books is by having your other books listed on the back of your cover, or you can list them inside of your book at the end when they have finished your book. So definitely show your readers what books they should purchase next, or what books they could also buy from you. And if they see that, they're just so much more likely to search for that book on Amazon instead of just going to some competitor as the next book. We have created a few brands ourselves, and Amazon actually shows our name, our author name, as a search suggestion for some of our niches. So that is because people are looking for our book in that specific niche. So I highly recommend you doing that, and then Amazon will start taking notice of that and even recommending it as a search suggestion. All right, KDP tip number 16 is to ask for reviews. This is something that you are allowed to do, and I highly recommend you do that inside of your book and just have one page where you're asking for your readers to leave an honest review. What you are not allowed to do is ask for a 5-star review, or to give some incentive to leave a review, or to bribe them to leave a 5-star review. You have to just honestly ask them to leave a review, and obviously you want to make sure that your book is high quality, so they are more likely to leave a 5-star review. But doing that can just help you increase your review averages, because you obviously want to get more and more reviews. And if you're getting your reviews organically like we are always, then having that page is really important. KDP tip number 17. Don't keyword stuff your titles, your author name or contributor field, or your description. This is really important, not only for your click-through rate. That is because if a reader or a shopper on Amazon sees that your title is keyword stuffed and looks unprofessional or not clean, they're much less likely to actually click on it. A clean title that looks good has a much higher chance of getting clicked on and then also purchased. Now the other side of this is also that if you keyword stuff your title or your author name or description, Amazon can also get confused as to what your book is about and then not rank your book at all, or rank it really lowly and poorly. So the less keywords you have, and the less you stuff your keywords in your 7 backend keywords, the better, because it just makes it that much easier for an algorithm to understand what your book is about. If you give the algorithm a few hundred words, for example, between your 7 backend keywords, your title, description, and your author name, it can get much easier confused than if you don't do that. So try and be more specific, more relevant, and more true to what your book is actually about, and focus on your main niche. And I think it will really help you get better results in your future books. KDP tip number 18. Learn Amazon ads. Amazon ads has been a huge success for our own Amazon KDP journey. So I highly recommend that you start learning Amazon ads, get familiar with the platform, and really using that to your advantage to stand out and get more sales than your competition. Amazon ads does take time to learn and to master. So you're not going to have overnight success most likely. This will definitely be a learning curve, but you can start slow, you can start on a gradient and keep improving and keep adding more campaigns and getting more fancy with your campaigns as time goes on. So obviously the easiest campaign to start would be an automatic campaign. And like the name itself suggests, it's an automatic campaign where Amazon does most of the work for you. And within a few clicks, you can have that campaign up and running for your book. And then after that, you can start learning category campaigns, keyword campaigns, async campaigns, and different strategies with each of these. But definitely try Amazon ads and see how you can benefit from them. KDP tip number 19 is to get verified on Goodreads. This is something brand new that I've never spoken about before, but as you've probably seen already on Amazon, sometimes they will show the reviews from Goodreads on books, and Goodreads does seem to have an influence with your Amazon KDP. So I recommend creating your Goodreads account and Goodreads profile for your biggest brands, and then also linking your Amazon KDP account to that. And I think it will overall help you create a better brand. All right, so KDP tip number 20 is to join Facebook groups and forums. There's no better place to learn Amazon KDP than by asking questions and by seeing other people asking questions and obviously their answers to those questions. Amazon KDP can be a big learning curve, especially if you're brand new. There can be, you obviously don't know anything, and there's lots of questions you don't even know you should be asking, a lot of mistakes you don't know you could be making. And all of these things you can easily see in the groups or on forums. So I highly recommend you joining them, see what people are asking, see what people are learning. And anytime you have a question or you have an uncertainty, ask the questions yourself. If you want to be part of our KDP community, you can join that on our website on selfpublishingtitans.com. And you can just click on the community button in the dropdown. And every single question you ask on our new community, Cleo and I will literally answer every single one of them. So every question you have, it is a good question to ask. There's no stupid questions, no dumb questions. And we're happy to literally answer all of your questions for free. So go ahead and join our community, ask your questions there, and we will help you as best as we can. KDP tip number 21 is to know your target audience. The way you can learn your target audience is by looking at your competitors. And by competitors, I mean looking at their reviews. In those reviews, you can see what people like, what they dislike, what they want, what they don't want. Then you can take all of those notes and apply the data for your future book. And that just gives you much better chances of standing out from your competition, of having a better book than your competition, and also getting 5-star reviews more often than your competitors, because you can learn from their mistakes. KDP tip number 22 is that if your book is eligible for the Look Inside feature on Amazon, to take full advantage of that and make sure that your first pages really count. Because if you have the Look Inside feature and the person can see those first few pages of your book, you really want to make sure that the most important information and the most compelling data of your book is at the beginning to further just convince the person to buy your book. So whatever pages are visible for the Look Inside feature, make those the highest possible quality and in such a way that it will really make the person want to buy your book. And obviously, the higher your click-through rate and the conversion rate for your book is, the higher you can potentially rank on Amazon. So that is what it's all about, getting more impressions, more clicks, and a higher conversion rate and higher sales. And the more you can do that, the better your books will rank on Amazon, and obviously the more money you will make yourself. KDP tip number 23 is to use social media. Make videos, ask friends to share your books on social media, make posts about your books. You can share screenshots of your books or quotes about the books or images of your books, but the more you can do, the better. And this is especially important if you're not doing Amazon ads or if you don't have a budget for Amazon ads, because the more you can promote and market your book, the more sales you're likely to get. And the more sales you get, the higher your potential to rank organically higher and higher. And that is obviously the ultimate goal, is to rank on page 1 on Amazon so you can get organic sales for a very long time to come. So see what you can do with social media. Try one platform. You can start with Instagram, or you can start with TikTok, or whatever platform you like, or on Facebook in groups. Just don't be spammy. Don't go to places you shouldn't be. Just create organic marketing for your book. KDP tip number 24 is to create and offer bonuses inside of your book. And this is something you can do where you can have bonus chapters or extra resources or something useful or something they can download or some resource they can get for free or some digital product, anything like that, just depending on what your book is and what could fit for your book. But the reason to offer something for free is that you can get an email address in exchange. And the more email addresses you have, the better your chances of future success are, because once you have an email address list, you can also sell them other products. You can take them over to another platform, and the potential is really endless. And you're not just fully reliant on Amazon keeping your Amazon accounts going and keeping your books selling. You have much more control of what you can and cannot do. KDP tip number 25. So if you have an audience and if you are selling a lot of books on Amazon, One thing you can try is lowering your price sometimes during special time periods, maybe Black Friday or Christmas or any holiday that you want to, and also promoting it to your audience that for a limited time you're going to be lowering the price and take advantage of that. So more people might be buying your book during that time period and then helping you increase in potential rankings on Amazon. Amazon KDP tip number 26 is to create 5 bullet points as part of your Amazon KDP listing description. And the reason we recommend doing 5 bullet points for your book listing is because if you're doing Amazon FBA, so just regular products on Amazon, you're allowed to have 5 bullet points, which is a feature specifically for Amazon FBA. But there must be a reason that pretty much every product on Amazon has these 5 bullet point options. And it's obviously because Amazon has done a lot of testing and seen that this helps with the conversions and getting buyers to purchase or choose for a product. So the idea is basically just to copy Amazon FBA listings and have 5 bullet points yourself, and you can manually just do that inside of your book description. So what we like to do is have one line at the top of the description, and then right after that, just immediately having 5 bullet points that show the key features of your book or your interior, and really give enough data right in the bullet points already where a customer can decide if your book is right for them or not. And then after the 5 bullet points, you can end off with another paragraph or 2 to give even more detailed information about your book. And then we like having a call to action at the bottom of the description for someone to go ahead and start buying your book now.